attention, eh? Hey, this cat. Today I'm with Bezwa. Bezwa, stop messing up my screen. Huh? Come and say hi. Come and say hi. She loves being patted and stuff like that, yeah? Oh, so you want to sit there? Okay, so let me show you where we are. Here we are. She's sitting on the table. You know how cats are? They're very independent. They're not like dogs. They like to be on their own. And for me, I love animals generally. And I really miss my Abunwasi. Yeah? Hi, Bezwa. Hello, Bezwa. So her name is Bezwa. Bezwa in French means need. Sorry today, guys. I'm here. It's morning. I don't have my makeup on. But we're supposed to look after animals. We've been given by our creator to enjoy. They're ours for our enjoyment. So how are you doing today? Today I have a very interesting topic for you. So I'm going to let Bezwa go. Bezwa, now you can go and do your hunting stuff. Bye. Bye-bye. 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 Oh, she's still insisting. Now she wants to play. But oh, come on. Go away now. Go away now. Looks like the neighbors actually decided to get a horse. So there's a lot going on in the environment. Guys, if I'm not looking very happy right now, let me tell you the reason. It's because raising teenagers is driving me insane. You know, sometimes I have fun with Maha. She can be real fun. These kids, they can be real fun and, you know, play games and things like that. But let me tell you the real truth. Raising teens in the abroad is not for the faint-hearted. But I also can admit that children have different personalities. So it depends. It really just depends on the children themselves. And I know the father of these kids, my husband, will not mind if I talk about this issue, because we had a very major discussion about this, because these are his kids. But just letting you guys know that raising teens is hard. Very, very, very hard work. Now, you know, when you have children who have been through maybe some traumatic issues in their lives, and maybe when they were young and they didn't have a lot of stability, or maybe when you have a situation where you're coming in as a step parent and you don't have legal authority over the children. Let me tell you the truth. Forget about what they say on whatever you see online. It can be extremely difficult, challenging, and risky. In fact, it can be depressing, create anxieties and all kinds of things that you never experienced before. And this is, I think, where I am right now, because we have a situation where we have kids coming into age between 12 and 13. And they're a little bit different from my own son, because, of course, being my own blood, I would have an idea about what ticks him, because he's obviously partly me, right? But when you're a step parent and you meet the children when they're a bit older, then it becomes even more tricky. It becomes more tricky, more difficult. So my husband and I have had this discussion, and the cat has decided that she is not going to be left out. My husband and I had this discussion, and actually this morning, very serious discussion about the kids and the fact that we lack community. When you're living abroad, you actually don't have the kind of community that you have like if you're living like in Africa or other places like that, yeah? See, somebody has decided they really want to be in the picture, so might as well. Come on, hey, leave me alone. Okay, yeah, so it's kind of like you don't really have that much community around you. And it can be quite, Bezwa. Bezwa just wants to play, by the way. And now she has decided she wants to play and she wants to become naughty. Yeah, she doesn't want to be left out now. All of a sudden, she's becoming a baby. Yeah? Okay, so basically, you don't really have community around you. And, this cat. Guys, sorry. Sorry. This is what it takes to do creation. But this is the thing that makes it really difficult about raising children abroad, because you don't have the aunties and uncles and systems that all share the same kind of cultural ideas and agreement on how to raise kids, what they should learn, what they should say, how they should speak, how they should behave, and things like that. So there are some great things here. There are lots of resources for children. There's a lot of safeguarding for kids available, right from the trained, very well trained police to the GPs, that's the general practitioners, that is the doctors, police to social workers to people like that. But when you come in from a different environment with a different perspective on how to raise children, then you find that you are kind of like on your own, because there's nothing that is in writing to to support you in the way you want to raise your child. So, for example, if you believe that children should dress a certain way and not in a certain way, then, for example, I did an experiment. You guys saw that I purchased new skirts for my daughter. Basically, pleated skirts, short, over the knee. In my view, over the knee skirts are short, right? They're literally quite short. So I bought them for my daughter, and then I took her other skirt, the one I had confiscated, and gave it back to her to see what would happen. Sure enough, she completely abandoned the pleated skirt and went back to her tight skirt, her pencil skirt. And the reason I gave it back to her is because I said to her, you see, Maha, this skirt is very long. It's actually as long as somebody like me can wear it if I was slimmer. It's long enough. But she lifts it up. She actually lifts it up. And she wants it to be tiny and short. And I did this as an experiment to see what would happen if I returned that skirt to her. What would happen. But what she doesn't know is that today it's going in the bin. Let her come from school. She just won't find it in the morning and I won't see anything, I'll just take the skirt and take it away because she has other uniform and I will not allow my daughter to be exposed, okay? That's just my decision. And, the school system may think that it's okay for children to even wear almost bomb shorts to school. But for me, it's a complete no. But instead of keeping on fighting the system, sometimes you ask yourself, why are you even raising the children in this system? Do you guys ever ask yourself these questions? Let's look at the situation. Let's look at the environment. Let's look at the society because we live in a global environment, a global society. Nowadays, people travel. People are all over the place. People from the UK are also in Africa. They're in Europe. They're in Dubai. They're in America. And they're choosing where to live and where not to live. And when they go to those countries, they take their cultures with them. So it's not about that. It's about reflecting and kind of like assessing and reviewing your decisions. So we need to understand that our decisions affect us. They affect our kids. We need to realize that the decisions that we take to move away from what is our cultural beliefs, our cultural environments, where we decide to raise children in a different cultural environment, you either fight back or you adapt or you relocate back to what you're used to, or you resign. You're safe. You resign to fate. You hope, because you don't have really an angle, a lens that tells you, if you raise your children in this system, within the next 5 years, these are the people they're going to turn out to be. It's like an experiment. You're putting your children in an experimental situation. Because like when you're living in Africa, or even if you're British and you're living in England and you've raised your children in England, you have a perspective of the future based on your own experience growing up in that culture and in that system. But when you bring children abroad, it means literally that you put them in the hands of other people and another culture that you are not familiar with. And all you can do is wait for results. Literally. Watch them unravel before you, and you'll see them coming in stages. Some results will be positive and some results will be negative. And you'll have to weigh between the two, the positive and the negative results you're seeing, whether it is leaning towards positive or leaning towards negative. And whether it's leaning towards advantages or disadvantages, risks versus opportunities for the children. The whole idea of moving to Western countries for many African families is because you're looking for a better environment in which to raise your children. You want your children to have opportunity, go to school. School should be affordable and also accessible for your children. In these countries, it's literally, it's free. You want good medical systems and things like that. But you have to remember that our health is determined not by the medical system, but the lifestyle that we adopt. If you adopt a lifestyle where you eat healthy, you have healthy food, and you are also getting enough sunshine, you are interacting with other people, you're not isolated, disengaged, you're not lonely, you are busy working, then you will probably have a long life. Yeah, unless you take risky decisions like we all do every day. The more risk you take, the more you leave your home, the more you leave the environment where you are, the more risk you're taking. Literally, you have to cross a road, you have to get in a car, you have to get in a plane or whatever. you're taking risks. So of course our lives have got much more risk compared to our grandparents, for example. But it goes without saying that if you take your children abroad, let's say you win the green card and then you decide they've filed for all your whole family and you've moved abroad with your kids, you're literally in an experimental situation. You're experimenting with your entire family in a different environment. And my view on this is that I would rather not do that. I'd rather not experiment with my child or my children or my stepkids in an environment where I'm not sure what the result is going to be like, or at least I don't have any sort of perspective. Yeah? The future doesn't look clear to me. Already we are living in a world where the future is not known, very unknown. Well, the future has always been unknown, but we're living in an environment which is precarious, very precarious. That's the right word. Up and down, hatujui from day 1 to day 2, what we're going to expect. But in general, we know that children who are brought up in an environment where they feel secure, with relatives or friends that care about them, with an adult in the home 24/7 who is looking after them, either whether it's a nanny or the parent, but they have an adult 24 hours, where they're eating a balanced diet and not eating all the time processed foods, sugary foods, and things like that, where the children have opportunity to go out and into the sunshine to play with other kids of their age, where they have been under some sort of community guardianship. We know that those children tend to grow up as responsible citizens. Oh yes, another thing is work, where children have chores to do, responsibilities and things like that. We know generally that those children grow up as very happy, even if they may not have a lot of money. They may not come from a family that has a lot of money. They have a lot of confidence and they're smiling. And we see a lot of this even on social media. We see a lot of African kids, for example, they may not even have shoes, or they may not be very well off. They may be in a hut, but even kids and adults, you see them happy. Your happiness is not determined by the amount of money that you have. It's determined by the sense of community, belonging, responsibility, and purpose. So children who grow up not understanding what their purpose is, being fed information by the internet, by other sources, they grow up confused and they start to develop and adopt practices and habits and traits based on what they see on social media. So for example, there are some children in this environment in the UK who have grown up with the belief that people are categorized based on the color of their skin. And based on the color of their skin, they are put into certain categories. They're either refugees, or they're poor, or they're rich, or they're better off, or they're whatever. You just look at a person's color of the skin and immediately you feel a certain way. And a lot of children are growing up believing that people of color or people who are not like them are charity cases, are people who should not be respected, that they're fleeing war. Children around here, young people especially, they believe that people who don't look like them are here as refugees or coming here to take their jobs. They're criminals, or they have a checkered past. These are people who are coming to beg or to borrow or steal from their society. And this is the problem. When we see people who don't look like us and we assume a certain thing about them, just by looking at them, you think that you know. Like we've seen a lot of videos on social media where you find judges and magistrates in America being stopped by American police. And there was a situation where I saw a woman judge, stopped by a policeman, and the policeman was trying to create a case because she was driving 5 miles below the speed limit. He was stating that she was a danger to the public.
Public, like discussing public issues, or doing, or teaching them people out there. Okay, sometimes walking in the street. Okay. Okay, just a limit.
Just limit. This is too far. I don't think you understand. You have no idea how hard it is to make content, my friend. It is difficult. Looking lovely. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Now you're spoiling the food for the children. You know the way they like the food without the greens. It's almost, and then what's in the other one? Rice. Okay, now we're gonna have that with rice. Nice. Good. Okay, nice. I'm in the mood for some Kenyan coffee right now. This is grade AA Kenyan coffee, Java House. Yeah, some of the wonderful things I enjoy from home, from Kenya. So let's make some coffee. Actually, just boil it. We don't need a coffee maker for this, yeah? Let's put a spoon on, like maybe half a spoon in there. Depends on how much you need. Let it boil a little bit, add some milk. Now we're done. That smells so good. When I'm missing Kenya, this is what I do, guys. Yeah. Let's have some grade AA Kenyan coffee. I bought a couple of packs, so because you know coffee is so expensive here. So I even brought a mug from Kenya. I have a mug for Kenya and I have another one for Wales. You see, Kenya and Wales, yeah. For them, it's a dragon. Yeah, they're almost like the Chinese. They have a dragon as their emblem, and we have a shield. Yeah. That is the way you spell Wales. Simru. That's how you spell it in Welsh. Wales in English, or Simru in Welsh. For us guys, it's just Kenya. Kenya. All right, so I'm trying to figure out which one I should use today. I think I'm going to use the Kenya mug because it's Kenyan coffee. And because of being used to UHT milk in Kenya, I can't drink fresh milk here. So I buy this one in the UK. Delamere. Cow's milk. Whole, sterilized, and you can just buy it off the shelf. It's really nice. I like this milk because it doesn't bother my stomach, you see. I don't get a lot of gas and things like that because I'm used to UHT, ultra heat processed milk, which is sold in packets in Kenya. So if you are, you better go for the sterilized milk when you go abroad. So I just wait for my coffee to boil. Hi guys, I've come over to have my teeth cleaned, and yeah, let's look after our teeth. Alright. Guys, I just had my teeth cleaned. Just look. Oh god, they're so clean. You know when you don't go to the dentist for a long time and then you go to the dentist? The difference. Oh my god, you guys, you know. Wow, look. Jenny, you're the one who tells me that I have clean teeth. Now they're really clean. I'm really happy. And then they're so gentle. Okay, you guys, whoever's here in Cardiff, you better go and do your teeth. Yeah, very important. Very important. Thank you, Doc.
Very well.